Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phalen, a weekly program on LSN television. We're also carried on a number of our radio affiliates throughout Fairfield County and beyond, and do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week as we have special guests from the community and also from within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, and certainly the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together, J.T. Burcham and the gang, and it's very much appreciated. Get a lot of nice comments about the program. They do a terrific job. This week's special guest is Deputy Gary Hummel. Good to see you, Gary.
See you, Sheriff.
And Gary Hummel, a veteran of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. He has kind of a unique position within the Sheriff's Office. But before we get to that, how long have you been with the Sheriff's Office and some of your assignments?
I went through the Sheriff's Academy in 1994. And I got hired full-time January 8th of 1996.
Okay, so wow, you get a lot of time in.
Yes.
And you worked in the jail?
Yes.
And
I've worked in the jail. I've worked the road. I did actually a little bit of undercover stuff.
Okay.
Just for a little bit of time.
Okay.
And now I'm doing the litter patrol.
Now, litter patrol is kind of a unique position within the Sheriff's Office, isn't it?
Yes. I work through a grant, the Solid Waste District, which is actually in Lincoln County. There's 4 counties that has this grant.
Okay.
It's Fairfield County, Lincoln County, Perry County, and Conshohocken County.
So it really doesn't come out of the budget here within the Sheriff's Office. It's a grant.
The grant
this
pays
region.
For my salary, benefits, and even the cruiser, and gasoline, mileage, maintenance, and everything on it.
And your job is unique because you are actually responsible for litter patrol, and typically, what all do you do?
Well, my job is I do probably 10 different things within my job. One of the main things is litter patrol. I work with all 13 townships in our county. I work very close with the trustees and the road department people, the personnel, and I work with the county road department, actually City of Lancaster also, and ODOT.
And so if someone, they call you about a variety of different concerns, what would be an example of some calls you might get from a trustee?
A lot of times when I get calls from trustees, I work with the health department also, because the health department has the same grant as I do, so they get paid through the same grant as I do. The health department does. This one person I work with, and if we get a call from a trustee's office saying, "Hey, we got a complaint about 10, 20 bags of trash that's sitting out by the curb, it hasn't been maybe picked up for a month, or it's sitting at the side of the house or behind the house, and maybe a neighbor called this trustee's office, say, hey, can you do something about this? And then the trustees will see, we know who to get a hold of, so they end up calling me. I go out there, see if I can make contact with anyone or not, and it can go to a different variety of what we can do and what we can't do.
Now, is this trash that people just have not had picked up, that they let accumulate around their house?
A lot of it is the people that just can't afford trash pickup anymore.
So they just let the trash pile up.
They just throw it on the side of the house or the back of the house, and that's good. Or a lot of it is people that just move out. They just move the house and just leave it.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I had an incident a number of years ago. It's funny you would say that because Loretta and I, my wife and I, actually had a rental property here in Lancaster, and the tenants moved out, and the whole garage was full of trash. Have you ever had anything like that where they just left all the trash in the garage?
Yes, I have. Yes, many of them.
So typically, what do you work with the owners of the property to try to get the trash hauled away? Then
what we do is we work with people. We don't sit there and then start getting violations. We like to work with people, especially the way it is nowadays. People trying to make ends meet and stuff like that.
Right.
If it's someone that still lives there, and say we got 20, 30 bags of trash and set in the backyard or whatever, I usually bring it to the health department.
Okay.
And me and Jennifer will go out, take pictures, take a little report, and we'll talk to the homeowner and say, hey, this is an eyesore. We're getting complaints from the neighbor, especially in the summertime when you have a lot more, possums.
Oh my God. Animals getting in this.
Animals getting in to drag to the neighbor's yard, stuff like
Wow.
that. So me and Jeff really work with each other on that aspect of trash that was just on someone's property.
Now, what about situations, I know you have these in our times, where people will maybe find an isolated area and start dumping old couches,
Yes.
old televisions, tires would be another thing.
Tires right now is a big thing because we're still getting dumped on with tires right now. Because it's expensive. It's usually about $6, between $5 and $6 for one tire to drop off here in Lancaster.
Okay.
There's a couple different areas you can take it to. Tires really is really bad because people just use an eyesore and they just don't want to pay $5-6 to get rid of to take it to where you're supposed to take it to.
Okay, so they dump the tires and stuff off the road. And so how do you track down who has these dumped it? And then once you find out, what happens? What's the penalty?
What I do is, illegal dumping is misdemeanor third degree. It's a $500 fine and or 6 months in jail, or both.
Okay.
It depends on your record too. The judge will if you got a rap sheet, mile long,
Right.
and you get charged with illegal dump, he's going to kind of give you a little bit more than if it's maybe a first timer.
Right.
It is an arrestable offense. And like littering from a motor vehicle, it's different because it's just littering from a motor vehicle. If you're going down the road, I've cited people for throwing cigarettes out the window.
Okay.
It is a minor misdemeanor. It's a $130 ticket, and it's
So people are driving along, they throw something out the window that you'll
Yeah.
pull them over and get them cited, right?
It depends on what it is. It depends on how they react to me. It's what their attitude is toward me. I have pulled over people for throwing stuff out the window, and I'm sorry, I didn't know. I give warnings on that too. I don't
Right.
cite everybody.
Right.
It just depends on each stop is very different, as you know that.
So how do you determine who the owner of some of these things are?
Like on private properties or like out on
Either.
private properties, if the people left a bunch of trash there and they say they moved out, I go to the county auditor's website, start kind of working on that. If it was a rental home, I try to get hold of the landlord, see if he has any, where they might have went to,
Okay.
the next house where he might have went to, stuff like that. Now, and if it's like a dump site, like we have a variety of dump sites in our county.
Right.
And I try to keep an eye on them. I do an extra patrol on different website or different dump sites, and I keep an eye on them. But if it's like a road where someone dumped it 2-3 bags of trash, I'll pull over, let the radio room know where I'm at, start going through it. If I find mail, then
Find mail, try to track down. Maybe somebody got a license plate number,
Yes,
something like
yeah.
that.
A lot of times, if I do find mail, and 9 times out of 10, they live within miles from where the trash was dumped at. So I go to their house, knock on the door, I make contact, I tell them who I am, what I do, what I'm there for, and and one of the first questions I ask them, I said, do you have trash pickup? If they say no, that's a red light right there. You're
Right.
like, well, wait a minute, you don't have no trash pickup. What do you do with your trash then? And it kind of,
That's when you hear that, I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners can't imagine somebody that would pile up their trash, take it down the road, and
Oh, yeah.
throw it in the ditch and
And
stuff.
it happens a lot, and it's summertime is we really get hit a lot because more people are out. It's daylight more longer, stuff like that. So
Now, what should someone do if they find like a big bag of trash and stuff thrown up in their yard and stuff like that, or they see it, they've owned some property and they start seeing property?
just call our office.
Okay.
Call our office, ask for me. Get on our website. Let us know what's going on, and every call we get in, I go out and make contact and see if we can do anything like here, and see if we can go from there. Then.
Now, a number of years ago, and you're going to know what I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, it was a case that actually made national news.
Yes, it did.
Because there was bags of underwear,
Yes.
wasn't there? I mean, how many bags were there? And
We
where
ended up with about 17, 18 bags of them.
bags full of underclothes, right?
Yes.
Underwear.
Yes.
And were they women's underwear, right?
They were both, but they were mostly women's.
Okay, and there was all these bags that was dumped on this person's property.
Yes.
What did you? And I know this actually made national news.
Yes, it did.
So, well, tell us a little bit about that, and then did we ever kind of find out who was involved in that, or whatever happened with that caper?
It was in Burn Township, and the homeowner's sister called me and said, they found some underwear laying on the side of the road. She didn't think anything of it, so she got out, inspected, and went to the wood area, and it was like Mardi Gras, she said.
They were in the trees?
They were down the hillside, the right-of-way. So she ended up calling her office, and me and the Burn Township Road Department plus trustees ended up going out there. Of course, the news media came down and made a big, we had a big story about it.
Yeah.
And we did bring in a couple of people for interview, but it didn't really pan out to be anything.
Yeah.
But about probably 2 weeks after this hit the internet and everything else, I got a phone call from some female down Cincinnati, and she said, this isn't a prank call, but she goes, whatever you're going to be doing with all this underwear and stuff, I'd like to be able to, if I can get my hands on it, I'd like to take it from you. And I thought, what the heck is going on? And she goes, every year down at one of the big bridges in Newport, Kentucky, between Kentucky and Cincinnati, they have every July, for about the last 3 years now, they hang underwear up on one of the bridges down there for a memorial thing, because they've had a couple relatives that died from cancer.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that they do.
They hang underwear on the bridge.
On the bridge down in Newport.
So you ended up giving it to her, huh?
And about probably after we didn't have any leads and closed case out, interviewed a couple people, we wouldn't get nowhere else. So I called her up and she came up and we did a little news media on it, and the Eagle Gazette came by and did a little story on it and got a picture taken with her and her loaded stuff up, and it went to a great cause.
Yeah, that story actually made the national news.
Yeah, I had the Associated Press call me and do a.
I think ABC did This Morning America, and they had a story, and they had a little humor to it because it was kind of funny.
And then I had. I actually had a couple businesses like in Dayton area, Kentucky area, from Victoria's Secrets, because they had a bunch of their underwear stolen, and they wouldn't know if it might have been Victoria's Secrets. I was like, no, it wasn't Victoria's Secrets or anything.
So do you ever have any clue on how someone would accumulate 17 trash bags with thousands, I guess it'd be thousands of underwear where this would come from?
I think it was probably someone that had a quote fetish on collecting stuff like that, and I don't know if he just wanted to get rid of it or moved away and didn't want to move,
didn't want to move all their underwear.
That's maybe about all I can think of what happened.
So, with us today is Gary Hummel, is our litter patrol deputy with the sheriff's office, and really kind of unique. Nobody else. This is your sole responsibility. And I think another thing probably you get calls about now and then are people or companies or businesses that will actually have a dumpster designated for that business, that establishment, that restaurant, and people will come by and dump their own trash bags and things into those dumpsters, right?
Well, we have a big problem right now. There's a couple gas stations I regularly go to a lot on a monthly basis when, like the dumpster sitting inside the gas station, they may close 8, 9 o'clock at night, and after they close, people who don't have trash decide to come in and fill the dumpster up. And what a lot of people don't understand is when you come in and fill their dumpster up at the business dumpster, and they come in the next day and say the trash truck was just there yesterday, the day before, they can't wait for another whole week for them to come by and empty it like next Thursday or Friday because the trash is already full, so they have nowhere to put their own trash at in the dumpster because you put your trash in there. So
it costs them money.
It costs them money to have to send an extra driver and truck out to empty it.
And so we do try to track down the owners, and they will be charged.
I have arrested, I think, 6 people in 2012 for throwing their trash into the business dumpsters.
Okay, so that's pretty common.
Yes, and it's getting a lot worse in the last couple of years. It's probably right.
Well, when you think about it, when people certainly the city of Lancaster has a trash pickup system for the entire city.
Yes.
But if you get out in the county, a lot of people have to pay to have a private trash company to come by and pick up the stuff. and so the people are wanting to not spend that money, so they're throwing the stuff in other people's dumpsters, or they're throwing it off bridges or whatever in the water, whatever.
Yeah, we just got someone. I think two of the calls I had in 2012 was one that they actually threw into the lakeway, into the stream. So you can actually charge them with the illegal dumping and the illegal dumping into a stream. You can actually charge 2 different charges.
Okay.
Because they dumped their trash, plus they dumped their trash into a stream, which is a completely different charge. So they're both misdemeanor 3rd degrees. Both of them are.
Well, it's very interesting. We're just about out of time. Give us your number, Gary, if someone needs to call you, first of all, if they have a concern with people dumping trash in their yards, or secondly, if they just want information about, what's the proper way maybe to dispose of these things. I know occasionally we do have things where people can turn things in.
Yeah, we have. Every now and then we'll have like a household hazards day where people can come in and drop off batteries, stuff that sits under their sink they have had for a long time they didn't know what to do with. We usually have them once a year, usually in May.
Okay.
Usually, and then every so often we'll have a tire drop-off day.
A tire drop-off day, too.
Drop-off day, yes.
So you'll be able to tell them when those next things are?
Yes.
Because I agree that is a problem.
Yes.
That sometimes people will have tires, they don't know what to do with them.
Sure.
And certainly if there's a way to dispose of those things, that's wonderful. Give them your phone number, Gary. And
our office phone number is 740-652-7911. That will ring right to the dispatch room, and just call and ask for Deputy Gary Hummel with the Litter Patrol.
Gary Hummel, our main number, just call Gary Hummel.
Yep.
And you'll be glad to.
More than happy to.
And and I get a lot of nice comments about Deputy Hummel. People say you will do all kind of things to help people, and it's very much appreciated. And it's kind of a tough job. It's a dirty job sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I dive into a bunch of dumpsters. Let's just say that.
Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Do appreciate you coming by. I'd like to have you back again one of these days, talk a little bit about Litter Patrol. Gary Hummel, our litter deputy within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week, the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program on and produce it, and certainly you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. Well, the clock on the wall says we've got to go. Until next week, same time, same place. God bless, buckle up, and we'll see you right here next week.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.